Welcome back to another episode of the Style and Strategy podcast. This time, I'm going to take a slightly different take and head really into a little bit of fashion and talking about the upcoming trend season. Now, I know you know that for me, a trend is something that we can use potentially to infuse a little bit of excitement back into our wardrobe. But it's really important that you consider a few things. So, what I'm starting to see come through for autumn, winter is really some strong silhouettes, some really deep, rich color palettes, and a mix of what I would describe as a bit of structure and flow. Nothing really groundbreaking as yet. But the real question here is, because I'm all about personal brand, leadership, and you, is how do you actually make some seasonal trends work for you? So today on the Style and Strategy podcast, I'm going to break that down for you. So what are some of the biggest trends coming through autumn and winter 25, 26 for that Asia Pacific region? And what could you leverage to communicate about your brand and your style? How do you actually start to inject some of the trends while staying absolutely true to who you are and your leadership identity? And then finally, some of the common mistakes that I see when people really start to chase trends and how to avoid those as we go through. Because I know we all like to inject just that freshness in, but as I always said, it's about finding something that's going to give you a little bit more longevity. So by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to curate rather than chase trends so that your wardrobe can feel really fresh and modern, but most importantly, you. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Style and Strategy podcast, where personal brand meets leadership and style. I'm Sonia, a personal brand and style coach who's been exactly where you are, juggling career and business success, personal growth, and finding a style that truly fits. After decades in corporate leadership, I've learned that showing up isn't just about what you do. It's about how you align who you are and how the world sees you. This season, I'm bringing you practical strategies, bold insights, and honest conversations to help you amplify your presence, unlock your next level, and lead with clarity and confidence. Let's dive in. If you are looking to elevate your brand and your style in 2025, I have something super special for you. I am kicking off a 5-day free workshop focused on owning the room in style the first week of February. You do not want to miss out on this 5-day workshop with me. I am going to be covering off on everything from owning that room, style, brand, simplifying everything, and getting to a point where you can revise and refine over time. So if this is on your vision board for 2025, then register below. The details are in the show notes, and I can't wait to see you there. At the same time that week, we are also opening the doors to the Activate Blueprint. I have not opened the doors to this group program since August of last year. So if you have been waiting to join the only personal brand and style program that is out there, then get your name on the wait list so that way you can ensure that you are notified as soon as the doors open, as well as the early bird bonuses that are available to you. I can't wait to see you at the workshop or on the other side in the program. So one of the biggest misconceptions about fashion trends is it's just about fashion, it's just about looking good. But trends, whether we realize it or not, can have the ability to influence our presence and potentially even our authority in the spaces that we lead. So, I'm going to talk a little bit around some of these key trends and what they could potentially support you with if they are a goal in your leadership presence. Because if you've listened to my previous episodes, you would already have by now your style goals for 2025 as well as your leadership goals for 2025. If number one is a little bit more around, I want to show a little bit more strength, I want to show a little bit more authority, and I really want to reinforce that I am decisive. And you know what? That I have a bit of no nonsense leadership style. So, when I'm thinking about that, some of the trends that I am seeing is the strong shoulder and the A-line fits, the really sharp lines that we've been seeing for the last couple of years now aren't really going anywhere. So, that sort of shape actually helps to continue to reinforce things like the authority, the structure, and the strength. So, when you think about it, it's not necessarily a trend, it's really something that's been there for a long time. So if you're stepping into certain arenas where you really want to give across that decisive no nonsense side of you, then that structured tailoring piece will always powerfully communicate confidence instantly. So if I think about it, sometimes we're not just one thing, right? I don't think we ever are. But if you think about, actually, I want to demonstrate that I have the decisive and I want to show that no nonsense style, but actually, I still have a bit of warmth and innovation to me. So I don't want to lose that. How do I then bring that together when it comes to my style? So, how you wear it plays a massive role. So, you could actually pair back things like something really structured and corporate, like I talked about before, with something soft like the silk or some knitwear to give your outfit just that little bit of balance. The second key trend that I am seeing come through, and no surprises here, given the 2025 colours of the year did come out at the end of last year. And if you missed a couple of my posts on this, they are Future Dusk and Mocha Mousse. What else am I seeing? The dark, richer colour palettes are actually also including that cherry liqueur, as they're calling it, which is really a deep plum burgundy color. And looking at some of the trend data analysis, we're actually seeing that plum burgundy really start to overtake even some of the mocha mousse, right? Which is that softer brown sort of tones, but it's still very strong going forward. So, what does this color palette actually say? I guess when I look at it, there's depth in that color. There's an opportunity to leverage it for more influence and to really show a presence outside of your standard black or perhaps navy. So it gives still that level of holding and owning that room and owning that presence without saying a word. Those darker hues always instantly create this element of sophistication and can really make your look much more refined and very much more intentional, which is where we saw a lot of those tonal based looks where you've got top and bottom, that whole look put together, always feel more refined and elevated. So the thing to watch out for here is you're wearing all those deep colors. Sometimes it can feel a bit overwhelming, right? Because it can really pull the look down. I've got to say, I love those deeper colors as they are. They're part of my color palette. But if you don't want to do the whole look, you can always look for how can I incorporate this and inject it into whether it's a heel or a coat of some sort, just to mix it up a little bit. And if you haven't been to the stores yet and you happen to go past the stores, you will see that cherry liqueur is coming through thick and fast, both at the Uniqlo end. I'm seeing a lot of that come through, as well as the higher end stores. cause. So we're going to see much more of that as we move into knitwear and so forth as well. So the other element is sporty outerwear and luxe details. Now this I posted on my stories actually on Instagram. I think it was about a week ago or so. I'd walked into Nike and the first thing that I saw in the women's section was a whole bunch of athleisure wear in the mocha mousse color, which was super exciting because it for athleisure wear, it feels really refined and put together if you do like those colors. But really what caught my attention was I guess I'd call it a technical skirt. It was a pleated skirt in that technical kind of fabric, which was designed for sporty outerwear. So I love watching this crossover into the athletic side and the sporty luxe. And we've seen sporty luxe now for a few years as well. It doesn't look like there's much slowing down of that. So what does that actually say? I guess I would describe it agility. There's a modern edge, right? Because you've got the sporty chic around there. And it's really for that woman who needs a bit more versatility in their life. They still want to look polished and put together. They're busy. They're running around they might be exercising, this sort of thing. They might be having to pick up the kids and as well as doing the work. And so they really want to have something that's just going to really blend function and fashion. So it's perfect for those leaders who are constantly on the move, but still want to maintain a really sharp and effortless presence. I've got to say that skirt's definitely on my wish list at the moment. So think about if you are in that sporty luxe trend and you like that, how can you swap out some of those ultra casual pieces that you've got, maybe for some elevated sporty layers? So it might be a suede trim bomber jacket instead of the basic hoodie, or structured joggers instead of leggings. And I've got to say again, the trackies I'm seeing come through, they're incredible. The shape and the fit on those are looking amazing. So it's definitely worth, if it's time to upgrade any of that casual athleisure wear that you might have, you might be able to push into this particular trend here. So the one thing that I do want to really touch on here is where I can see some mistakes around trends. And so you might ignore trends completely. And then that's when you might start to feel that your wardrobe feels a little bit outdated. Or it might be the other extreme where you might be injecting the new trends that are coming through, and then suddenly you've lost your signature style. I know I worked with a client once where we opened her wardrobe, and as we were looking through the items and she was pulling those out, she actually did comment to say, wow, I seem to have picked up a lot of pieces that reflect the last sort of few years when it came to trends. So we had the boho come out, we had the bootleg jeans, we really wide flared jeans, we had studded, the biker style. So when I was looking at her wardrobe to find what was her signature style, where was there that through line, where was that fluidity, so that she felt like she wasn't necessarily a different person every day, because that was what was important to her as one of her objectives in identifying what her style would be. So the question becomes, how do you integrate trends without losing you? So step one really is decide what works for your leadership style. What do you want your style to say about you as a leader? What kind of leadership qualities do you really want to amplify? Maybe it's quiet confidence, then that whole sophisticated, rich neutrals, tailored fits, that type of thing might be more you. Or do you want to bring energy and creativity into the space? It could be the bold colors, but it doesn't have to be. It could be more statement prints, just a creativity and energy through the movement in the fabrications. So really, trends should support your leadership presence and not override what is coming through. What I do recommend is maybe choose one or two to really experiment with. So instead of overhauling your entire wardrobe, just start to layer in the trends that make sense for you. I talk about when we build a capsule wardrobe that you can look at injecting color as certain color trends as accents into your existing signature wardrobe. So think about that in the same way when it comes to trends. So let's say you love a bit of bling when it comes to your earrings, or you like something that's a bit more statement when it comes to those. So where can you incorporate that into your style? Is it a belt? Is it the earring? Is it a brooch? What is it that you can add into your existing outfits? Versus if a more structured shape really suits you and is calling to you, then maybe you're looking at different kinds of tailored blazers that are out there in the different trends. We've come through this oversized part. So maybe it's injecting a little bit of that. Maybe there's some more crop styles coming in of late. Hint, really good for those of us who are a little bit shorter in stature. But maybe that is something that you want to inject and see how it makes you feel. Step 3, don't necessarily fall into trends that are low quality or kind of impulse buys, right? And I know it happens. So I'm not here to scold you on that or anything like that. We have all been there. But it's the fastest way that you can really start to feel disconnected from your style. So just do a double take, just do an extra think before you start to go down that path. It might be that you find some amazing pieces there, and that's a totally different conversation. You're looking at the construct, you're looking over versatility. Can you use it in multiple occasions? And I'll say it time and time again, fabrics is everything to me. I want to feel good in the fabric that I have against my skin, and it usually can last a lot longer when it's a really nice fabric as well. And so when I say fabric, really nice fabric, it doesn't mean it has to be super, super expensive. Some of my go-to tees, they are a Uniqlo tee. I know Target has plenty of 100% cotton basic tees as well that are great for that wash and wear. So when I say that quality fabric, take the time, have a look. It doesn't mean it has to be super, super expensive. So what are some of the ways that people can get it wrong, right? So these are some of the things that I see. So people might see, I'm starting to see something a lot, and it's a bit of a trend that is happening. So your pull is towards the trend, but not necessarily to it being aligned to the presence that you're trying to hold, right? So just think about that for a second. If you are incorporating a whole lot of these trend elements, if it is not in line with what your leadership presence is, then it's going to start to dilute your brand a little bit. So the question you need to ask yourself is, does that trend make you feel more like you? And so you really want to lean into those ones that are going to enhance your style and not change it completely. Mistake number 2 is potentially playing it too safe. Okay. So sometimes we can really lean on these default pieces season after season. And then we wonder why we feel like I am so uninspired. I am so bored with my wardrobe. So if that is the case, maybe it's time to inject a few trends that you can see will last a bit more of the distance. And so you just put in those small little upgrades here. It might be a new silhouette, it might be a fabric, or it might be that new color that you're seeing lots more of and that really suits your palette. And then finally, number 3 is please don't forget about the power of a scarf or any other accessory, right? Because they have the ability to completely change the look of an outfit. And I've got to say, some of the scarves that I'm seeing at the moment come through. And again, I think I posted on this the other day. There was 100% silk scarf in the H&M premium collection. And that silk scarf was beautiful. That's another one that I've got my eye on for an addition for that little injection. It might be a handbag, it may be the earrings, it may be the textured scarf, but they're a really nice low commitment, for want of a better word, if you want to start that movement into some of the seasonal trends. What have we covered today? Trends should work for you, not the other way around. Your presence is actually what makes a really powerful outfit. It's not the trend itself. It never is. So this week, your challenge is to try incorporating one of the new autumn winter 25-26 trends into your wardrobe. Is it color, a silhouette, or an accessory? Then I want you to ask yourself, did this change the way I felt about myself in those leadership spaces, perhaps? And did it enhance your presence, or did you feel like it distracted from it? Send me a DM, tag me. I want to hear how you're making 2025 autumn winter trends your own. So at the end of the day, some of the most captivating leaders aren't the ones wearing every trend. They're the ones that actually know who they are and they dress to reflect that. So think about that for you. Thanks for tuning into Style and Strategy. If you love this episode, share it with a friend, DM me, and remember that style is strategy, so wear it wisely. Until next time, own your own space, wear what makes you feel powerful, and keep leading on your own terms.